is going to have to be a short one. I have to get up early. Today and tomorrow, so the life of the rich and famous, I guess, right? Far from it. There's Intel.com. Sessions. There's a scheduler in the shop here. Hopefully it didn't work, yeah. Jeez. I'm not even with it. So yeah, world reset energies. Yeah, like I said, I don't think it's who knows? Nobody knows anything. Yeah, just kind of like I said, dismantling of reality little by little. Was it the Taylor Swift situation? Oh my God, who cares? That Taylor Swift, I didn't want to put that in the title, but none of that feels right. It's like it's built to fail. And it just two clones come together or something like that, or whatever that is. And it just feels two sellouts. It's definitely a distraction for sure for our to keep people in the system. Activate marriage proposal when there's nothing going on or whatever is going on. Of course, the Israel energies are picking up. I don't know if I said this yesterday. I'm not feeling the nuclear energy so much anymore. I don't know if because I felt some of that before, but then not that we're going to have like a nuclear bomb or anything, but there's always a possibility, but it's high, it's lowered a lot. So there's always a chance of it, a possibility of it, because of society is just completely just gone. We have to go through some of those experiences, but it's been downplayed for right now. Of course, with Israel and Gaza, what Israel is planning, Orion manipulation, whatever propaganda they put. Of course, the U.S. has their own propaganda. It's like, look at North Korea and their propaganda is like, we have our own. We have our own, pretty much a joke, basically. The media is such a... Anyway, not going into all of that. So, yeah, I have to keep this kind of short. So we're going to, what was this, fourth dimension? Well, it's a fourth dimensional shift, yeah, but it's happened to more than ninth dimensional astral realms. It happened to the. I do a couple of them. I don't do that very often. Yeah, because I gotta go. Tap into the Palladian energies and then going to the astral realm. So I feel like the Palladians have something to say. Force of field, I feel like the feline energies. Okay. Yeah, we're going to the felines instead. We'll see if anyone shows up. Okay. Alright, blessings. Greece, you got the Weirins, the felines, fourth dimension. Yes, there are beings that, let's say the third dimension is a lower, frequency-wise, yes, but there is, of course, still value there. It's not looking down on that energy field at all. Yeah, it's more challenging, more of a disruptor, at least in the physical. It does challenge a lot of higher dimensional beings to embrace their darkness, of course, and they can't heal it sometimes. And of course, as some of you probably feel that beings that incarnate here, they're like never the same again. Some of you might tap into that or yourself is never the same again, for the better or for worse, because it does push the soul to its brink, as you can see. And this is not the only world that has a third dimensional frequency. There's different versions of it, of course. Some are more intense, some are a little bit lighter. You can say it's kind of necessary for growth. Some might disagree with that, but there's some. It's not necessarily here for karmic reasons either. You might just, yeah, you're here for various different reasons. Not necessarily just you're kind of tied to it karmically. No, some are, yes. Some can't let this place go, and that's what some of you are here to assist with. Letting go of this as it's happening now, helping the earth retire its frequency. But the feline is not perfect, as no other being is. Even, yeah, there's every animal creation here is contributing to the human experience, as you can see. Some, yes, are more insect-like and feline-like, canine-like, and so on. But there's value here. It's just that the restraints of this reality, yes, are, you say, agreements are slowly letting go. Of course, the restraint on Mother Earth, well, she agreed to this also. And it's up to her, of course, to let things go too. Like, she doesn't always have a choice due to all the beings that have integrated into her frequency. She has to let those play out, just like any other relationship. It's like, it's, you let someone into your life, you have to go through those motions of it, and then you try to disconnect from them, maybe more sooner than they want, as some of you went through, and you get nothing but backlash. And she's going through all these different, feeling what everyone's going through, the good and not so good, and just all the conflict, and it's overwhelming, as you can imagine. So she's seeing her dark side more. I mean, she had as a yes, but even for her, it gets too intense. Of course, that's also the weaponized female that's here, that has been cooled down by the male. The female, as you can see, has been manipulated on many levels, and the male is there to really calm that down. And it depends. It does what it has to do. Sometimes it has to just be just a rock, maybe a stupid rock, or a smart one, stupid, whatever it is that takes to calm down the manipulations on the female. So, because the lower dimensions were open, so the female is like easily attacked, and the male is there to kind of ground that frequency to calm the monster down. Some of you feel that there's something going on that's intense, kind of like an internal volcano, but that's just basically the lower dimensions reaching through, trying to, because they need a body to work through. They need a vessel, so. And not everyone is capable of cooling that down themselves. So they need sometimes a male to assist with that in different ways. Of course, they go through their own difficulties too, but the female is more of the target due to Mother Earth. Well, we can say the lower dimensions trying to take over Mother Earth, even destroy her, to get it to destroy itself. Get the female to overpower the earth, as some of you see the wrath of the female, and to really go insane and just destroy everything. And for what purpose? Just for destruction. So it's for it to happen internally. And so it gives you some, and the lower dimensions, as you can see, are quite intense. Like once again, some individuals can calm it down, others can't. So it just kind of takes them over. Once again, the male can be affected by it different ways. But really it's there just to defend the female, to get through all this, to survive the rapture, you can say. But yeah, what happens? Yeah, with this world, just the darkness here would just unlock. Just yeah, it was just so much of it. But there was so much of it. There's so much to learn from it. The only thing is, with that learning of it, is like you can consume the soul at the same time. It could be like too much learning. You can almost say it can get out of hand, as some of you notice that. Well, even just look at the structures, look at society. It's not exactly flourishing as it could be. Buildings are not pristine, they fall apart. The idea is for a structure to be strong, but also the soul to be strong. But so some third dimensional worlds can handle this type of frequency. Like sometimes a reptilian, not always. It's you can say it's what a mastering, like creating a third dimensional world and be able to not let the darkness overwhelm that reality. You see, that's one of the tests some souls are trying to accomplish. This is definitely one of the more intense plans. Of course, there's many more. There's always there's always going to be some kind of experiment. So is this an experiment? It is different. There's different meanings. It's, it's really kind of christening the soul for it to, evolve into. You don't always know what it's going to evolve into. But to kind of master this realm doesn't mean you have to go into more of an intense reality. But after this, yeah, you can handle one to some, because this one, as you know, it has a calmness, but then it gets intense, and it can become calm, intense, and so on. And then sometimes the frequencies of others, it's just the lower dimensions are, because the lower dimensions are lost souls, basically, it comes down to it. Those that cannot, survive this reality in the past. And so they're looking for a human vessel to attach themselves to exist, to cause chaos, maybe sometimes to heal, but they have a lot to heal. So that's why a lot of them are here physically. And sometimes, and being in the physical can calm down a lot of that insanity, where they get beat up here, but at least they're back to human, and they can actually change their ways if they want. That's why they find Jesus and things like that, depending on the situation. Or some just go back into the lower frequencies. It depends. So it's like a pool. So, but yeah, this is schooling, internal schooling, and you don't need to know all the details of it. You'll never get out of here. If you know all the details of what you're getting from this, you truly will just, almost like you're stuck, you're trying to figure it all out. It's like, when I put myself through this, you're overanalyzing. And then, yeah, sometimes ignorance is the best thing that ever happened to you. So there's a feline frequency, and of course we have our own difficulties. So think of it with the feline worlds, where yes, we had a peaceful world, and then we were tested by reptilian beings, or there's various other stories out there that have not been mentioned, but our own darkness was exploited by reptilian beings. And that's why we kind of combined to the reptilian, to learn from them to also survive a realm like this. There's very more details to it, but so you wonder why a weird world a feline was destroyed, is because we opened up our dark side and imploded it. So it was too much for us to handle and exploited. It just wasn't. We've learned over time, but so we're still learning from ourselves here, and yes, still a lot of the weird energy is here. So it's a continuation. The battle is still going on. And there's a lot of curiosity, as you can say. Maybe too much curiosity, some might say. But the dismantling of your reality is not going to happen quickly, because it's like slowly, the world goes out of business on certain levels. Industries are slowly dying out. So people are having less to hold on to through their work life. And so they connect to their families, and which is nothing wrong with that. And it's like their purpose, their work purpose kind of comes to an end. It's like, okay, I don't really have the job I enjoy anymore. I have the family, but, you know, once that's accomplished where it needs to go, they just go, you know, they leave the earth. So, because one's job, physical job, means a lot. That's what we notice that. It's so important. So, but once you lose that, and you're just getting these meaningful jobs, and it depends on the situation, but for some, there's just like, there's no excitement here anymore. And yes, they have their family, but they can love their family in other dimensions. Either it all depends if they need them here or not. So it just makes it easier to let go. Of course, when family members pass, it also makes it a lot more easier to let go. So yeah, some just stay here just for family and friends. And of course, they're just here kind of ghostly in some ways. They're here and they're not here, and so on. So, but yeah, as you can see, the work situation is becoming less because the Earth is transforming into less humans, more soul interaction. And yes, we need a difficult world. Well, this one's still difficult, but it's still going to go through its difficulties. It's not done yet. It isn't. Yeah, it has to kind of let go of the souls that it's grabbing onto. And the souls have to want to let go of it. So there's much more to accomplish here. But you came here to assist with this transition that's happening now. From the physical to the non-physical, of course, not necessarily seeing the non-physical, but this is the stepping stones towards that at some point. So, blessings.